Welcome back to Kringle's Christmas Stories, brought to you by KringlesChristmas.com, home of Comet's Choice premium reindeer food, reindeer tested, Santa approved.
Good night.
Oh, we're diving into a charming Christmas tale, set in a magical toy shop. Are you ready to step into a world of wonder and maybe feel a little bit of that Christmas magic yourself?
Oh, there's nothing quite like a good Christmas story to warm the heart, especially one with a touch of enchantment.
And this one definitely has that. The story takes place in a quaint, snow-covered town called Holly Ridge, where a very special toy shop captivates the hearts of children and adults alike.
What makes this toy shop so special? Is it the toys themselves, or is there something more at play?
Well, the toys are definitely extraordinary, but the real magic lies with the Toymaker, a man named Master Johann. He's described as elderly and kind, with a twinkle of mischief in his eyes. You get the feeling he knows a secret or two.
Ah, so there's a hint of mystery surrounding this Master Johann. I'm intrigued. What kind of secrets could a toy maker be hiding?
That's what we're going to uncover together. The story reveals that Master Johann possesses an enchanted golden key passed down to him in his youth. This key has the power to imbue his toys with life, allowing them to move and speak when the shop is closed. Can you imagine the surprise of seeing those toys come to life?
It's a delightful thought, isn't it? A secret world hidden in plain sight, coming alive when everyone else is asleep. But why only at night? What's the significance of keeping this magic hidden?
That's a great question. And the story gives us a few clues. It seems the toys aren't just waking up to have a little party. Christmas Eve is a very special night in the toy shop. Legend has it that on this night, a great star appears above the shop and grants the toys one wish, but only if they can find 3 magical pieces to summon it.
So there's a quest involved. This adds a whole new layer of excitement and intrigue. What kind of wish would a toy make, I wonder?
That's something to keep in mind as we dive deeper into the story. It's easy to get swept up in the magic and the adventure, but the ultimate goal is that wish, and I have a feeling it will reveal something profound about the heart of this tale. But first, let's set the stage for this Christmas Eve adventure.
Lead the way. I'm eager to hear more.
Picture this. It's Christmas Eve, and the toy shop is closed for the night. Snow is falling softly outside. Carols drift through the air, creating that perfect Christmas atmosphere. Inside the shop, the toys begin to stir.
I can practically feel the anticipation building. Which toys are we going to meet on this magical night?
We're introduced to a few key characters. First, there's Clara, a beautiful porcelain doll with golden hair and an emerald dress. She's Master Johann's masterpiece,
Yeah.
and has just awakened for the very first time.
A newly awakened doll. How exciting for her to experience Christmas Eve with such wide-eyed wonder. I imagine she'll be quite curious about everything.
You're absolutely right. Then there's Jack, a well-loved stuffed fox with worn fur and bright button eyes. He's full of excitement for the night's adventure, and seems to be the one who knows all the ins and outs of this Christmas Eve tradition.
Jack sounds like the perfect guide for Clara, a seasoned veteran of Christmas Eve's magic. Wonder what kind of wisdom he'll impart to her.
And we can't forget the ballerina, a delicate music box ballerina whose movements are as graceful as the melody she plays. She seems to have a more thoughtful and intuitive nature, perhaps sensing the deeper magic at work.
A trio of charming characters, each with their own unique perspective. I have a feeling they'll complement each other beautifully on this quest.
Well, quest is definitely the right word. Remember, the toys need to find 3 magical pieces to summon the great star. The story specifically mentions a magic key that's hidden somewhere within the shop.
Ah, the first clue. A hidden key, tucked away somewhere in the magical toy shop. It sounds like a classic scavenger hunt with incredibly high stakes. What happens if they don't find any before midnight?
That's the big question,
Yeah.
isn't it? The story doesn't reveal all its secrets right away. But with Christmas Eve ticking away, and the great star waiting to grant their wish, the toys embark on their search, leaving us to wonder if they'll succeed in their magical quest.
So the adventure begins. I'm already hooked and can't wait to see what happens next.
Then let's dive right into the story itself.
Let's hear it.
In the heart of the snow-blanketed town of Holly Ridge, nestled between cobblestone streets that glistened with frost and shop windows glowing with warm golden light, there stood a peculiar little store. Its crooked roof sagged under the weight of freshly fallen snow, and its sign, painted in whimsical letters that shimmered faintly under the glow of the gas lamps, read, Master Johann's Toy Shop, where magic comes to play.
That sign alone is enough to make you want to step inside, don't you think?
The shop was the pride of Holly Ridge. No matter the time of year, children would press their mittened hands and rosy cheeks against its frost-covered windows, marveling at the treasures within. But at Christmas time, the shop transformed into a glittering wonderland. The windows sparkled with strands of fairy lights, and the shelves were packed with toys so extraordinary they seemed plucked straight from a dream.
I can practically hear the excited whispers and gasps of the children peering through those frosty windows.
There were rocking horses with real hair for their manes, painted in glossy chestnut tones that gleamed in the flickering light. There were delicate porcelain dolls with dresses stitched from the finest velvet and lace, their cheeks dusted with just the faintest pink to give them a lifelike glow. Wooden trains polished to a mirror shine sat on rails that curved artfully around display tables. Stuffed animals of every kind, from soft, floppy-eared bunnies to vibrant patchwork elephants, rested in piles so inviting they seemed to be begging for a hug.
It's a feast for the senses. I can almost smell the wood and the paint, feel the soft fur of the animals, and hear the gentle clatter of the train as it circles the display.
The air inside the toy shop smelled of cedarwood shavings, warm beeswax, and the faintest hint of cinnamon and nutmeg from the Toymaker's ever-bubbling pot of spiced tea. This scent, combined with the faint tinkling of a music box on the counter, created an atmosphere so enchanting that anyone who stepped inside felt as though they had entered another world.
It's the perfect blend of scents for a Christmas toy shop. Warm, inviting, and just a touch magical.
But as wondrous as the shop appeared to Holly Ridge's townsfolk, none of them knew the secret it held. Master Johann, the Toymaker, was not just talented, he was enchanted. Johann was an elderly man with a long, wispy beard that seemed to glow silver in the firelight. His round spectacles perched precariously on the end of his nose, and his kind, crinkled eyes twinkled with mischief whenever a child entered his shop.
There he is, our enigmatic Toymaker. You can just tell there's more to him than meets the eye.
Johann had been crafting toys for over 50 years, and every creation he made seemed to carry a special spark of life. His hands, calloused yet gentle, worked with extraordinary precision, carving, sewing, and painting each toy with a level of care that bordered on magical.
You get the feeling he pours his heart and soul into each and every creation.
And that was because it was magical. Long ago, when Johann was just a boy, he had discovered a peculiar golden key buried in the woods near his family's cottage. The key was warm to the touch, and when he held it, the world seemed to hum with energy. As he grew older and began crafting toys, Johann discovered the key's true purpose. It gave life to whatever it touched.
A source of the magic is revealed. A golden key with the power to bring inanimate objects to life. Classic fairy tale element, isn't it?
Johann had kept the key a secret, using its power only in the quiet solitude of his workshop. When he added the final piece to a toy, a doll's button eyes, teddy bear's stitched nose, or the last brushstroke of paint on a wooden train, the key's magic would spark to life, and the toy would awaken.
It's almost like a ritual, a sacred act of creation that imbues the toys with a piece of his own spirit.
Each toy Johann crafted had its own personality, its own unique spirit. But Johann had one strict rule. The toys could only move and speak after the shop was locked and the lanterns were dimmed. During the day, they remained perfectly still, their magic hidden from the eyes of customers.
It's a wise precaution, I suppose. Can you imagine the chaos if the townsfolk knew the toys came to life?
The toys obeyed this rule without question. They adored Johann, and they cherished the moments when they could stretch their limbs, laugh, and explore the shop that was their home.
It sounds like a wonderful secret society, a world of wonder hidden from prying eyes.
And on Christmas Eve, the magic in the toy shop was stronger than ever that year. Christmas Eve arrived with a soft blanket of snow that muffled the cobblestone streets and made the whole town feel like a living snow globe. Inside the toy shop, Johann was hard at work on his final creation before Christmas morning.
The scene is perfectly set. Christmas Eve, a blanket of snow, and the anticipation of magic in the air.
The workbench, lit by the warm glow of a single lantern, was cluttered with jars of paint, spools of thread, and tiny tools so intricate they looked like they belonged to an elf. In Johann's hands was a wooden doll, her body already assembled but missing the finishing touches that would bring her to life.
I wonder if he knows the adventures that await his creations on this special night.
The doll was his masterpiece. Her hair was made of spun golden silk, her dress of emerald green velvet trimmed with lace, and her shoes were painted the brightest shade of hollyberry red. Johann had named her Clara.
Clara. It's a beautiful name for a beautiful doll. You can sense the love and care that went into creating her.
As Johann worked, he hummed a soft tune to himself, the same carol his mother used to sing to him by the fire. His brush moved with steady precision, adding the last stroke of paint to Clara's shoes.
It's a tender moment, a glimpse into his past and the traditions that have shaped him.
There you are, my dear, he said softly. his voice warm with affection. "You're ready for Christmas morning."
He's speaking to her as if she's already alive, imbuing her with a sense of personhood even before the magic takes hold.
He carefully placed Clara on a shelf beside a stuffed fox with worn fur and a tiny music box adorned with painted snowflakes. He stepped back, admiring her. Even in stillness, she looked alive, her painted eyes gleaming in the flickering light.
I imagine he sees a bit of himself in each of his creations, a spark of his own imagination and creativity.
Johann sighed, wiping his hands on his apron. "Another year," he murmured, glancing around the shop. "I wonder what this Christmas will bring."
What do you think he's feeling in this moment? A sense of accomplishment, perhaps? Or maybe a touch of melancholy as another year draws to a close?
It's hard to say for sure, but I think there's a hint of both. He's clearly passionate about his craft and the magic he brings to life, but at the same time, there's a sense of longing, a wistfulness that suggests he might be missing something in his own life.
Perhaps the magic he creates for others fills a void within himself. It's a common theme in stories about those who possess extraordinary abilities.
And perhaps that's something we'll uncover as the story unfolds. But for now, let's shift our focus to the toys themselves, because they're about to experience a Christmas Eve unlike any other.
Lead the way. I'm ready to see the magic unfold.
Johann stretched his aching back, blew out the lanterns, and locked the door behind him. Outside, the snow fell softly, and the faint sound of carolers singing Silent Night drifted through the crisp night air.
The stage is set, the world outside falls silent, and inside the toy shop, the magic is about to begin.
For a moment, the toy shop was still, bathed in the silvery glow of moonlight filtering through its frosted windows. Then, with a faint creak, the toys began to move. The first stirrings were gentle. The lid of the music box popped open, and a tiny ballerina twirled gracefully, her porcelain arms curving in perfect circles.
It's a beautiful image, isn't it? The delicate awakening of the toys, a gentle dance as life returns to the shop.
"Is it time already?" she asked, her voice as delicate as the tinkling melody that played from her bass.
The anticipation is palpable. She's been waiting for this moment all year.
"Yes, it's Christmas Eve," squeaked Jack, the stuffed fox, leaping from his spot beside Clara. His fur was worn in patches, but his button eyes sparkled with excitement. "Come on, everyone, wake up!"
Jack bursts onto the scene with such energy. He's clearly a veteran of these Christmas Eve festivities.
Around the shop, toys came to life. Tin soldiers stretched their legs and marched down from their shelf, their polished buttons gleaming in the soft light. The wooden train tooted softly as it rolled forward, its wheels squeaking faintly. Even the plush elephant, whose trunk had sagged from years of cuddles, let out a happy toot.
It's as if the toy shop itself is coming alive, each toy with its own unique personality and way of moving.
"What's going on?" Clara asked, blinking her painted eyes open for the first time. Her voice was soft and curious, like the first notes of a lullaby.
Ah, there's Clara. I can only imagine the wonder she must be feeling, waking up in this magical world for the very first time.
And that's where we'll pause for now, leaving Clara on the brink of discovering the magic of Christmas Eve. What do you think? Are you as excited as I am to see what happens next?
Oh, absolutely. We've only just scratched the surface of this enchanting tale. I can't wait to see what adventures await Clara and the other toys. Last time we left off with Clara, our newly awakened porcelain doll, taking in the sights and sounds of the toy shop coming to life on Christmas Eve.
Yes. She's just opened her eyes for the first time in a world where toys can move and talk.
What a magical moment for her.
Let's see what happens next.
I'm ready. It's Christmas Eve, Jack explained, bouncing on his tiny paws. The most magical night of the year. Tonight, we can make a wish.
He makes it sound so exciting.
A wish, Clara repeated, tilting her head in wonder.
She's so innocent and full of curiosity.
Yes, exclaimed the ballerina, twirling closer. The great star grants one wish each Christmas Eve, but only if we summon it.
So the wish isn't a given. There's a challenge involved.
Clara's wooden hands clutched at her velvet skirt, excitement and nervousness bubbling inside her. How do we summon the great star? She asked.
She's eager to participate, but understandably a bit overwhelmed. "We need the magic key," Jack said, his button nose twitching. "It's hidden somewhere in the shop. If we find it before midnight, the great star will appear."
A classic quest. A hidden key, a ticking clock, and high stakes.
Clara looked around at the bustling shop. She'd only just awakened, but she already felt a sense of belonging among the other toys. "Let's find it," she said, determination shining in her painted eyes.
It's heartwarming to see her embracing this adventure with such enthusiasm.
The toys erupted in cheers, their laughter and jingles filling the shop like a chorus of tiny bells. The search for the magic key had begun.
The toy shop must be abuzz with activity.
The toys scattered throughout the shop, their tiny footsteps pattering against the wooden floorboards.
Jack.
With his boundless energy, darted between shelves, his nose twitching as he sniffed for clues.
Jack's enthusiasm is contagious.
"I bet it's hidden somewhere high up," he exclaimed, leaping onto a stack of building blocks. "Master Johann always hides things where we can't reach them."
It sounds like he knows Master Johann's tricks quite well.
Clara, still unsteady on her newly awakened legs, followed close behind, her emerald dress rustling softly. Her eyes, wide with wonder, scanned every nook and cranny.
Clara is approaching this systematically, observing every detail.
"Perhaps it's near the fireplace," she suggested, pointing to the hearth where a few embers still glowed. "It's the warmest place in the shop."
That's a clever thought. She's thinking about the key's potential properties.
The ballerina, with her delicate movements, pirouetted around the shop, her porcelain eyes searching for any glimmer of gold. Her music box melody played softly, a gentle counterpoint to the excited chatter of the other toys.
Her grace and elegance bring a sense of calm amidst the excitement.
"It has to be somewhere special," she murmured, her voice barely a whisper. "A place Master Johann would consider magical?"
She seems to have a deeper understanding of Master Johann and his ways.
The toys searched high and low, their efforts growing more frantic as the minutes ticked by. They peered under display tables, behind stacks of books, and even inside the cuckoo clock, whose little wooden bird chirped in surprise at their intrusion.
I can picture the scene, the toys scrambling everywhere, determined to find that key.
But the magic key remained elusive. Disappointment began to creep into their hearts, dimming their initial excitement.
Oh no, I hope they don't give up.
Clara, sensing their flagging spirits, paused beside the rocking horse, whose painted eyes seemed to gaze wistfully at the snow falling outside. She reached out a wooden hand and stroked its mane, its silken strands cool beneath her touch.
Claire's empathy is heartwarming. She senses the mood shift and wants to offer comfort.
"Don't give up," she said softly, her voice filled with a quiet determination. "We have to believe we can find it."
She's emerging as a leader, encouraging the others to keep the faith.
Her words seemed to rekindle a spark of hope in the other toys. Jack, who had slumped against a stack of toy soldiers, his ears drooping, straightened up and puffed out his chest.
He needed that pep talk.
"Clara's right," he squeaked. "We can't give up now. The great star is counting on us."
He's regained his enthusiasm. Clara's words have inspired him.
The ballerina twirled once more, her melody echoing through the shop, a reminder of the magic that awaited them.
It's like a little dance of hope.
Suddenly, as if guided by an invisible hand, Claire's eyes fell upon a small, unassuming box tucked away on a high shelf, almost hidden behind a row of colorful kites. It was a simple wooden box, its lid slightly ajar, and something about it drew her attention.
Fate seems to be playing a role here, guiding her towards the box.
"Look," she exclaimed, pointing. "What's that?"
A glimmer of hope. Could this be it?
The other toys gathered around her, their eyes fixed on the box.
Yes.
Jack, unable to contain his curiosity, leaped onto the shelf, his fur brushing against the delicate kites.
He just can't wait to see what's inside.
He carefully nudged the box open with his nose.
Yeah?
Inside, nestled on a bed of crimson velvet, lay a golden key. It was smaller than the key Master Johann used to unlock the shop, but it gleamed with the same enchanting light.
They found it. The magic key.
"A magic key," gasped the ballerina, her porcelain eyes wide with awe.
A moment of triumph. Their perseverance has paid off.
Jack, his tail wagging furiously, carefully lifted the key from the box with his teeth.
He's handling it with such care and reverence.
"We found it!" he cried, his voice trembling with excitement. "Now we can summon the great star."
His joy is palpable.
Claire smiled, her wooden heart filled with a warmth she had never felt before. She knew, with a certainty that surpassed logic, that this was just the beginning of their adventure.
She senses that there's more to come, that the quest for the key was just the first step.
And with that realization, we'll pause the story for now, leaving the toys with their newfound treasure and the anticipation of what's to come. It seems the real magic is just about to begin.
I can't wait to hear the rest. This is turning out to be a truly enchanting Christmas tale. When we left off, the toys had just found the magic key, the first step in summoning the great star and making their Christmas Eve wish.
They were overcome with excitement and a sense of accomplishment,
Yeah.
but they knew their work wasn't over yet.
They still had to figure out how to use the key and summon the star before midnight.
Right. And the story picks up right there with the toys gathered around the magic key, trying to figure out what to do next.
I'm on the edge of my seat. What happens next?
With the golden key clutched carefully in Jack's jaws, the toys made their way to the center of the shop. Moonlight streamed through the frosted windows, illuminating the space with an ethereal glow.
It sounds like the perfect setting for something magical to happen.
Clara, remembering a detail from the whispered legends, pointed towards the ornate grandfather clock that stood tall against the back wall. Its pendulum swung rhythmically back and forth, counting down the seconds until midnight.
Ah, the grandfather clock. A classic symbol of time and a reminder that they're working against the clock.
The legend says the key must be placed in the clock's keyhole when the clock strikes 12. She explained, her voice filled with a newfound confidence.
Claire's really stepping up as a leader, remembering the details of the legend and guiding the others.
Jack, with a determined nod, scurried up the clock's side, his small paws finding purchase on its carved edges. He carefully maneuvered the key towards the keyhole, its golden surface shimmering in the moonlight.
Can you imagine the scene? A tiny stuffed fox climbing a grandfather clock with a magic key in his teeth?
The other toys watched with bated breath, their tiny hearts pounding in their chests.
The tension is building. Will Jack be able to place the key in time?
The clock began to chime its deep resonant tones, echoing through the silent shop. 1, 2, 3, each chime sent a shiver of excitement through the toys.
It's like a countdown to their destiny.
Jack, with a final burst of effort, inserted the key into the keyhole, just as the 12th chime reverberated through the air.
He did it, just in the nick of time.
A brilliant flash of light erupted from the clock, bathing the toy shop in a dazzling golden glow. As the light subsided, a shimmering star appeared above the shop, its ethereal light casting a magical spell over everything it touched.
Wow, it sounds absolutely breathtaking, the arrival of the great star.
The great star pulsed with energy, its light reaching down to caress each toy with a gentle warmth.
It's as if the star is acknowledging their efforts, their success in completing the first part of the challenge.
A hush fell over the toy shop as the toys gazed up at the star in wonder. They had done it. They had summoned the great star.
What a moment of triumph. All their hard work has paid off.
Jack, still perched atop the grandfather clock, held his head high, his button eyes shining with pride.
He deserves to be proud. He played a crucial role in finding the key and placing it in the clock.
Clara, standing in the center of the circle of toys, felt a surge of warmth and gratitude. She had only just awakened, but she already understood the true meaning of Christmas Eve.
What do you think she understands?
I think she's realized that it's not just about the toys coming to life or even about the wish they're about to make. It's about the love and friendship they share, the spirit of giving and the belief in the impossible.
That's a beautiful insight. The deeper meaning behind the magic of Christmas Eve.
The great star, sensing their readiness, sent a beam of light down towards Clara.
It seems Clara has a special role to play in this.
"Speak your wish, little one," a voice whispered, soft as a snowflake, yet echoing through the entire shop.
The star itself is speaking to her. It's giving me chills.
Clara looked around at her fellow toys, their faces filled with anticipation. She knew that this wish, this precious gift from the great star, belonged to all of them.
She's so selfless, thinking of others even in this incredible moment.
She took a deep breath, and in a voice clear as a crystal bell, spoke her wish.
And what was the wish? Don't leave us hanging.
The story doesn't tell us. It ends right there, leaving us to imagine what Clara wished for.
Oh, how frustrating. But also kind of brilliant. It leaves us with a sense of wonder and the chance to imagine our own ending.
Exactly. And that is the end of the Enchanted Toy Shop.
What a delightful story. It truly captures the magic and wonder of Christmas Eve.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? What would you wish for if you had the chance?
That's a great question to ponder as we head into the holidays. It reminds us that the true magic of Christmas lies not in the presents, but in the spirit of love, generosity, and believing in the impossible.
Beautifully said. And speaking of believing in the impossible, don't forget to sprinkle some Comet's Choice reindeer food outside on Christmas Eve. It's reindeer tested and Santa approved.
You don't want to disappoint those hungry reindeer, do you?
Thanks for dropping by Kringle's Christmas Stories. Have a very Merry Christmas. Remember to get your Comet's Choice reindeer food at cometschoice.com.